So now we're going to look at squaring up our backdrop reference. This is the reference. As you can see, it's in a piece of plastic to keep it clean. You can square up directly onto the plastic, but it's difficult to get the pen to make a mark, so I prefer to use a photocopy. I have one here. It's the same scale, it's 1:1. And the first thing to do is to find the center point. So I measured the reference and taken the same point, and we've marked a center point. I've also drawn the baseline, which is the second important thing to remember. I'm just going to use this piece of paper to draw a right angle. You could use a set square. And now I'm going to draw the center line. Everything then comes from this outwards. Likewise, everything from the bottom is measured upwards from the baseline. So we need to choose a scale to draw our squares or grid. The model's 1:25, which is this scale here. A good start would be a meter square. So I'm going to draw meter points from the center line out, and the same at the top. At this point, it's worth double checking the accuracy, because any mistake you make here will be magnified 25 times when you come to draw up. So I've done the right half. I'm now going to do the same, but working from the baseline up. The reason we use the baseline and not find the center point is because it's the base, or the bottom of the cloth, that will hit the stage, and therefore it's one of the most important parts. Any discrepancy, any extra design, any shortage of cloth that's come from the manufacturer will be at the top, and therefore usually off stage and behind some masking. This is the important point, the baseline. So again, I've measured 1 meter squares. Try and be as accurate as possible again. We now have our grid, but before we start to use it, I want to mark it up so that everyone knows where they're working. If you're only given half the piece and told to draw, you need to know where in the design you are. There are various methods of doing this. The one that I prefer is to mark the lines, not the squares. And on the bottom I use numbers. Center line, line 6, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So now we know exactly where you are in relation to the center line. Line 9 or line 3, for example. In order to help even more, I like to put letters along the horizontal lines. For example, A, B, C and D. This way it's easy to identify exactly where you are any point on the cloth. For example, this point here is 7B. So to recap, the baseline and the center line are the first two things you find. Work out, work up, mark each of the lines, both vertically and horizontally. Then when you make a further photocopy, they will be the same. So if you have 2 or 3 team members, they're all working from the same grid and everyone's on the same page.